You need to learn how to piece control in ranked, and the best way to do that is by noticing patterns in your opponents. So in this first fight we're going to go over right here, I'm on top of the first order base trying to get some loot, and then another player is going to glide up behind me. When I see this player gliding, I'm going to choose not to shoot, and I'm going to wait until the right moment to get some opening damage. And then when I see the player jump in the air, I'm going to hit him for about 90 damage with my pistol. After getting that big beam of damage, I'm going to start to close the distance and apply pressure. I know that the new guns bleed through builds a ton, so I'm just going to spray while this player's popping his minis. Also, by the way, don't build in wood because you're obviously going to get your builds bled through. And obviously after I crack the player, I'm going to start to approach his box. But when I'm approaching this player's box, I notice that the back wall is open. So that means since he's weak, he's probably not going to try and double it in front of me and fight me. He's probably going to backpedal and create space. So I'm going to fight the player where he's going to be and not where he is at the moment. So I'm going to jump over his head, and then I'm going to pre-piece that area, get a cone, so that when he walks into that area, I can double at it when he's not expecting it, and I'm able to pump him and pick up a quick kill. So make sure if you want to piece control your opponents, you do this. Now when fighting in ranked, everyone you fight is going to have a different playstyle, but the most common player that you run into in ranked is the super aggressive player that's always trying to jump into your box. So let's show you all a quick example of how to fight against an aggressive player. So to start out this fight, I'm going to see this player in front of me with a TIE fighter. I know he has the medallion, so I want to fight him so I can get the medallion. So I'm going to spray his TIE fighter to get his attention. He's going to turn around. Another thing when you're fighting TIE fighters, look to find cover before you even shoot at them so that when they turn around and try and jump you, you're not going to take a bunch of damage. Me doing this is going to now force the player to now jump out of the TIE fighter and then come and fight me. But I wasn't sure if he was going to get back in, so I get in my car and I bait like I'm going to run away. Then the player will then get away from the TIE fighter. Now I know it's safe to get out and I can start to shoot at him and get some opening damage. And when he out damages me, I instantly look for counter damage so that now we're both at around the same HP. Now when I push this player, he's going to box up and brick, and I'm going to start to apply some pressure to try and steal his roof. But I realize I need to med up, so I build in wood and I start to pop my minis. And when the other player realizes this, he's then going to shockwave on height above me. And when he shockwaves in the air, I'm able to hit him for a few hits of damage. And then I'm going to make sure to create a 2x1 of space so that if the player tries to jump in, I have time to react. Now when the player instantly starts to spray in, I know he's super aggressive and I know he wants to jump into my box. So I don't want to stay in this box anymore. I want to create space so I have time to think. So I'm going to flip the cone in front of me, and then I'm going to edit out to my left, and then I'm going to turn back and hold the wall so that he can't jump in. After I did this, this other player thinks I've moved into the box to the right, so now he's going to start to spray in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and look back at him. This is going to surprise the player. He thinks I'm in the other box, but I'm looking at him. I'm able to then pump him, crack him, get him super weak, and then pump him a second time, and then pick up a quick kill. And after I pick up that kill, I make sure to create space so that if a third party showed up, I had time to react. Moving on now, let's talk about the biggest issue that everyone has to face in ranked, and that is third parties. Now, if you do want to avoid getting third party, you need to learn how to never be greedy. So to start out this fight right here, I'm driving around and this other player is going to start to shoot at me. So I'm going to start to shoot back at this player and we're both going to get into a build fight. Now, while I was fighting this player, another player with a car is going to come up and third party us. When he third parties us, I'm going to make sure to track him below me to make sure I know where he is. And then when he side jumps onto my wall, he's going to obviously try and take it. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to edit the wall on the left where he is. I'm going to edit the wall on the right. That gives me a right hand peek versus the other player so that he can't see me, but I can still do damage at the same time. After I hit this player for 50 damage, he's now forced to take a break. Now while we're taking this break, the other player that I was fighting earlier is going to now third party us in this fight. Now while all three of us were fighting, the train below us is going to pass by. And since I remember we built all over the train tracks, that means the majority of the builds that we're standing on are probably going to be broken. So I know if I drop down while they're fighting, I could probably chop everything out, and that's what I do. I just spray this wall right here and this ramp, and I'm able to drop all of them down. When this happens, I'm then able to spray the player on the right and get a bunch of damage, and I'm going to start to push him. Now while I push him, notice how I move around the right side so that the other player couldn't look at us if he was. Now since this player was popping his minis and I know he's pretty weak, I'm just able to jump into his box and I'm able to kill him. And since I'm in this other player's box, you'll notice all of these metal builds are his. And this other player is right next to us. So I need to make sure that I break out and instantly look at the other player so that he can't rush me. Since I did this, the other player doesn't have time to get the jump on me, and I'm able to max pump him and then pick up a quick kill. And after I pick up that kill, again, notice how I create space and I'm not greedy for the loot. And then after I create the space, then I go for the loot. So make sure to do this if you want to avoid getting third party this season. Moving on now, let's talk about the next best way that you can become a better fighter, and that is by having good map knowledge. Having good map